Thank you for that, Michael. I will be your Toastmaster for today's meeting, and I would like to introduce today's grammarian, MR.
Can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Hello, I am your grammarian for today, and I will be looking out for filler words such as like, and as, and I'll be looking for if you use the word of the day, which is euphoria, which means a feeling of great happiness and excitement.
Thank you for that. Uh, I don't believe our time is here for today. So, uh, Xavier, would you mind being the timer for today?
Sure, I could be the timer.
All right, thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our timer, Xavier.
All right. Thank you. So as timer, I'll be timing each time speaking session of the meeting, starting with our speeches, which are going to be 5 to 7 minutes. So at the 5 minute mark, my background will turn green. At the 6 minute mark, my background will turn yellow. And at the 7 minute mark, my background will turn red, in which you have 30 seconds to finish up your speech. The next part I will be timing is the table topics, in which you have 1 to 2 minutes to complete your speech. So at the 1 minute mark, my background will turn green. At the 1 minute 30, my background will turn yellow. And at the 2 minute mark, my background will turn red, which is 15 or 30 still to finish up your tabletop or response. Next up is the evaluation section, which is going to be from 2 to 3 minutes. So at the 2 minute mark, my background will turn green. 2 minute 30 yellow, and finally 3 minutes red, in which you have 30 seconds to finish up your evaluation. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for that, Xavier. I would like to introduce our first evaluator, but he is not here. So, could anyone possibly take up that role?
First evaluator, Michael, would you be able to do it?
Sure, I will gladly. The eulogy of Mr. CFC. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael, and I will be the first evaluator for today. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Pendergrass on his speech, the eulogy for Mr. CFC.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmasters. It is a great honor of mine to give the eulogy for Mr. CFC. Mr. CFC's had a huge impact on every one of our lives, whether you realize it or not. But to truly understand Mr. CFC, you've got to go back to his childhood. He was born in the 1920s, so he's an older gentleman, to the proud parents, Mr. and Mrs. Al Kane. And they were described as having very volatile personalities. That's probably where Mr. CFC got his volatile personality, although he's considered more stable than his parents. Mr. CFC has been described when he enters a room as taking the heat out of the room, making the room go cold. That's how strong his personality is. He grew up in a very rough neighborhood. He's a violent derivative of ethylene, propane, and methane, and these are some real tough guys. In his early childhood, he spent much of his time with close family friend Thomas Midgley conducting science experiments. Mr. Midgley was a chemist out of Detroit, and they would spend hour after hour experimenting. And when they found solutions, it created a sense of euphoria. Unfortunately, Mr. Midgley committed suicide. And I'm not sure the impact that had on Mr. CFC, but I can only imagine the repercussions that brought. Because Mr. Midgley has been described as the one who created the foundation for who Mr. CFC is today. Mr. CFC had a very dominating grandmother, Mrs. Frigidaire. She had a cold personality. She ruled with an iron fist. She controlled Mr. CFC and his entire family, told them where they can go, what they can do, and how they're going to do it. And they listened. She said she done it out of love, but I'm pretty sure it's for monetary gain. Mr. CFC also had a very interesting working career. He's worked in several different industries and several different roles. And on the surface, they all seem to help each other, help people. For example, he's a war hero. He fought in multiple wars in both the Navy and the Air Force with countless stories of saving lives. If the airplane or the ship or the submarine catches on fire, so oftentimes he was the first one in action, saving the crew, allowing them to escape, risking life and limb, and oftentimes suffering bodily injury. He also done the same in the private sector as a volunteer fire department. He also worked as a chemist in the refrigeration and air conditioning industry. He was loved by politicians. He was loved by businessmen. He was extremely popular. He traveled the world going to the best places. If you had the money, he would be there. He was loved, and he was appreciated. As a teenager, he became extremely popular, and that popularity grew over the next several decades. But in the 1970s, two scientists were conducting experiments, and they were surprised to find that Mr. CFC had a dark side. For all the good that he's done, he was equally evil, if not worse. You see, Mr. CFC is an international serial killer, responsible for thousands of deaths, and he was killing to that day. He was addicted to murder. He could not help it. It was like a natural reaction. He was hated so much that in 1987, the United Nations met in Montreal, Canada, and 198 parties in the first universally ratified treaty in UN history called for the execution of Mr. CFC and his entire family. Genocide. He had to go. Mr. CFC is scheduled to be executed in the year 2030. Now you might be asking yourself, who is Mr. CFC? Who is this guy? He's actually not a person at all. He's refrigerant R12 chlorofluorocarbon used in refrigeration and air conditioning equipment for decades. His time in the military is because he's a key component for flame-resistant material. Same with the fire department. He's a serial killer because he is a greenhouse gas. He's destroyed part of the ozone. It reacts with the stratosphere, allowing ultraviolet radiation to come in and kill us by giving us skin cancer. As you can see, Mr. CFC is chlorofluorocarbon, a real killer. And you might be asking yourself, what does that have to do with us? How are we similar to a chemical compound? Chlorofluorocarbon on the surface seemed to be amazing. It kept us cool in the summer, protects us in dangerous situations, but it comes at a cost. The repercussions is death through skin cancer. The Montreal Treaty of 1987 is considered the most successful climate treaty in UN history. The ozone is repairing itself thanks to that treaty. But we actually have something in common with chlorofluorocarbon. We chase sin. We break the rules of God. What we think feels good today has repercussions that will kill us. The wages of sin is death. And just like chlorofluorocarbon, when we choose sin, we choose death. So next time you're faced with a major decision, do not chase sin because there is a price to pay. It will kill you. Maybe not today, but you will answer for it. Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you for that speech, Toastmaster Jason. I would now like to introduce our second evaluator, Mia.
So next is going to be the speaker, Deanna, and her speech is about mentorship.
Mentorship. I've been mentored in many ways by the Gavel Club. First, I was afraid to speak in front of a small group. But Toastmasters has helped me conjure up the courage, and I'm not afraid anymore. I was also scared to order at my favorite restaurant, Chick-fil-A. I've always had to have one of my parents order. When they order, I always get pickles on my sandwiches. But when I order, I can get a pickle free. In first grade, when it was my turn to do the announcement, when I walked back in the classroom, some people said that they couldn't really hear me. But when I did it in second grade, no one said that they couldn't hear me. Then, when we were at Ferguson Community Center trying to get new members, the first time I was speaking very quiet. The second time, I spoke loud and clear and with confidence. My biggest accomplishment is winning first place in my second grade speech competition out of 80-something students. We had to give a speech on a famous person. After I won first place, I had a feeling of euphoria. The Gavel Club has also helped me take leadership roles like grammarian and table topics master. It has also helped me answer table topics and give speeches in a positive environment. I plan to be a mentor at places like jiu-jitsu, school, summer camps, and the Gavel Club too. Thank you.
Thank you for that awesome speech, Toastmaster Deanna. Moving on to our table topics, we don't have our chosen table topics person today. So Miss Anna, will be taking that role. And I would now like to pass it on to her.
Thank you, Toastmaster Isaac. So this session is a table topic session where I give a random question and then you give 1 to 2 minutes short speech. So I like to ask our visitors today, our guests today, would you like to participate? A simple question. Okay. Okay. Well, wonderful. Okay. So I will ask question to our regular member first and see so that you can see how that goes. My first question is, if you design a video game, what would you want to design? If you design a video game, what would you want to design? And that question goes to Mia.
If I had to design a video game, what kind of video game would I want to design? I would probably try to design maybe a puzzle game because I don't think I'm good enough to make an adventure game, and being able to write out a storyline for that is not for me. So a puzzle game is a lot more simpler and easier to create because all it comes is just normal puzzles that you can do in real life as well. Plus encoding. It was kind of hard to make that game that I was hoping with my other partners in class. It wasn't really fun to make, but I feel like a puzzle game would be a lot easier. Thank you.
All right. Best is you either use the word of the day, euphoria.
I did.
At the end. You were not here. Okay, maybe not. All right. The second question is, what would you like to do in your spare time? What would you like to do in your spare time? And that question goes to Amara. Yeah.
The question is, what would I like to do in my spare time? Some of the things that I like to do in my spare time is to watch movies and just relax because usually I have a lot of homework. So also sometimes in my free time I would just take a nap. Sometimes I would do some of my hobbies older sister brought a lot of puzzles this summer for us, and they're really fun. I have completed one of the puzzles with my little sister during summer.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to have some spare time. When you grow up, my age, it's very hard to find the spare time. But I like the puzzle. I still have the puzzle on my table, coffee table, on my living room. Yeah. Whenever I have a spare time, I put a couple of them there. Yeah, thank you. The third question is, what do you feel to work 8 hours on Saturdays? I think you all know this question will go to Isaac because we know he works 8 hours on Saturday. How do you feel about it, Isaac?
So the question is, how does it feel to work 8 hours on Saturday? And not just work any kind of job, but specifically at one of the busiest restaurants in the world. And it depends, because during the first 4 hours, you're energized, you're ready to go, you're being all nice to the customers. And then I'd say about after 6 hours, your feet start to hurt badly. You don't want anything to do with most people because you've already been worn out. You've already had your 30-minute break earlier in your shift, and there's no signs of slowing down. So half of it, or I'd say majority of it, is good until you're most of the way through your shift. And then it all comes. It's like a sugar crash. You feel good, and then all of a sudden it all just hits you like a truck. So that's how I feel about working 8-hour shifts on a Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. I'm sure at the end of that 8 hours, it's a euphoria, right? So it's over. Thank you. Now let me shift the topic a little bit. I want to shift to Halloween. The question is, what's your favorite Halloween costume? That question goes to Kate.
The question is, what would be my favorite Halloween costume? My favorite Halloween costume is just my normal clothes, probably even the clothes that I went to school on Halloween. There are three main reasons for this. First, I am way too lazy to change out of my school clothes, and I know that some of you may be that way as well. Therefore, it is the best costume. Number two, if you just wear your normal school clothes, then you won't have to buy any Halloween costumes, and we like to save money. So, without the necessity to buy any costumes or buy supplies to create a costume, you can just stroll around in your normal clothes to trick-or-treating, even though a few strange looks your way, but you still get your candy, and that's the only thing that matters. And third, I mean, who cares about what you look like on Halloween? If this is my natural look, I am not going to dress up as, I don't know, an alien monster, and this is the best costume that looks on me, because it's not the type of normal clothes that I would wear on a school day. Therefore, my favorite costume and the costume I would wear on Halloween, trick-or-treating, would be just my normal clothes.
Like that. Yeah, all that matters is candies. All right, next question is, do you have a favorite Halloween movie? Do you have a favorite Halloween movie? And that question goes to Horace.
My favorite Halloween movie, as you can tell, I'm practicing because my voice is raspy, is Gavel Club Mystery. And let me explain the movie. When I woke up this morning, I saw gavel clears all around my bed, right? I saw with big axes, with chainsaws, with butcher's knives, and the works. And all of a sudden, they all started coming to me. But I realized I was in a dream. So my favorite Hollywood or favorite Halloween movie is Gavel Club Mystery. It's all about all of you guys telling wonderful stories about all the wonderful things like that you do, like what Deanna just told us about, what Katie just told us about. Is one thing I love too. Like Katie, I love my regular everyday clothes. If I want to make up my face, then I can do so. But for the most part, I just love Gavel Club Halloween Mystery. I'm not seeing the green light yet, so I guess I better run my mouth one more second. Now I'm at the green light. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Thank you, Horace. My next question is, would you go to trick-or-treating this year? Would you go to trick-or-treating this year? And that question goes to Xavier.
Okay. Would I go trick or treating this year? Me personally, I'm not one to trick or treat much anymore. In fact, I'd probably, instead of trick or treating, be in the gym playing basketball because that's what I mainly do. And if for whatever reason I don't or decide not to go to the gym, then I'm probably going to be at home chilling, just either playing the game or something or watching a movie. Because trick or treating, although it's fun, has been fun in my younger years, now I just don't feel the need to go trick or treating anymore. And thank you for the question.
Thank you, Xavier. All right. Now, I want to ask one of my guests here. Would you like to introduce yourself for about a minute? And your name is?
My name is Sophia Tsai.
Sophia. Sophia?
Hello, my name is Sophia Tsai. I go to Houston High. I'm in 11th grade, and I wanted to join this club because I'm interested in pre-law, and I think public speaking is like a good thing to get used to, and also I'm looking for like a new extracurricular, perhaps like a leadership or something like that.
Wonderful. Yeah. It's great. It's great you take the initiative to make it happen. I hope you will find that this is the right place and good place. Because I guarantee it's the right place and good place. How about you? What's your name?
Philosophy.
Palat.
It's kind of fun and also. So my name is Palastia Srinath. I'm in Houston High School and I'm in the 11th grade. And some of the things I do is I play tennis. I have extracurriculars and I want to go into pre-med. So I'm trying to take this class because I want to just improve my overall public speaking and the way I communicate. Because in the in the medical field, you need to be able to communicate with other people. So I'd like to strengthen the skill of this class.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Right. Well, I'm glad to have two of you here because we're all here trying to grow, to learn, and this is definitely a safe and a positive environment for you to practice. Because when you make the first speech in front of everybody, an important situation, you don't want that to fall. And this is the place that gets you ready for that important moment. So, yeah, welcome. All right, I think we still have time for more questions. And my next question is, how's your day go so far? And that question goes to Tim.
Hello, everybody. This is my first time actually being here in person, as I'm usually online. But so far, I've had a pretty eventful day, I'd say. Fortunately, I was a little bit late today here, but in the morning, I actually went to the Farmington Elementary School. They had a Falcon Fest, so me and some of my friends were volunteering there. And after that, we went around, got a bit of food and whatnot, and after that, we came here. So I'd say we had a pretty fun day before we got here. Volunteering was actually quite fun. I found a few of my old teachers. One of my band teachers was there actually, so it was nice seeing him again. And then all the kids there were pretty nice. They weren't too mean, playing around and everything. But after that, we did go to Mulan, got boba before coming here. Of course, boba. As I am a very good, big boba enthusiast. It brings me great euphoria. And After that, I'm just glad I'm able to come here in person for the first time, see everybody in person, and hopefully I'll be here next time too. Thank you.
I'm sure everybody's so glad to see you too in person. All right, I think we can have one more question, and, okay, so Xavier gave me the green light. Xavier, can I still have one more question? Okay, so the question is, as you all know, we had a booth yesterday at Lakeland Festival, and we have several members represented our club, Michael being one. But this is not Michael's first time, so I would like to ask Michael, how do you feel about yesterday's event?
So for yesterday's event, this was actually my second time promoting the club in a public setting. The first time was, I think, same thing you mentioned, the community center. So I definitely think that I improved this time because I came in there with a plan that I would first introduce myself and give my name, which establishes a more personal connection before trying to sell the club. I also prepared a message about how this club would help middle school and high school students learn better public speaking skills. And I think that's applicable to some booths which had kids around my age running them, and also to parents who might have children or who know friends that have children that need this skill. So although it was a bit nerve-wracking at first, I definitely got used to it. And I think that promoting the club is a very good opportunity to practice your public speaking because it's even more pressure than under the normal club setting. So if you're able to succeed in that setting, then I'm sure you will be prepared for any type of situation. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, so yesterday there were a lot of youth in that festival. And Kennedy, Michael, and Xavier, they did a good job connecting with the youths. Yeah, so good job. All right, I think, yes, that's all for the picture. Thanks, Horace. All right. Great, okay, so that's the end of table topic session. I will give the time back to our Toastmaster Isaac.
All right, thank you for that, Miss Anna. I would now like to pass it on to the timer for their timer's report.
Alrighty. I believe we get the evaluations up first, and then we do the timer report.
Sure, we can do that.
All right. So since Mr. Horace wasn't here for his first speech, we had Michael Southern as the first evaluator. So Mr. Michael, I believe it was you, right?
Mr. Taylor, did you hear Mr. Pendergrass's speech by any chance, or were you not?
I only caught about the last 2 minutes.
Okay, then I'll just do the full evaluation if that's okay with you.
All right, thank you.
So, Mr. Pendergrass gave his speech on Mr. CFC, which actually isn't a person, we find out later. He first started with a very good hook, he introduces a mysterious figure who is somehow important to all of us. This keeps us all listening and wondering how exactly that is. He did use the word of the day, euphoria, which is very good. And he also had great detail in telling about the history of Mr. CFC, going into his family, work, and life experiences. And then he later revealed a shocking fact that Mr. CFC was in fact an international serial killer, which immediately caught my attention and caused me to listen very closely. Then the plot twist of the century came when he revealed that Mr. CFC was in fact not a person, but chlorofluorocarbon, which is a chemical compound found in refrigerators. Lastly, he concluded with a message that is applicable to all of our lives, how we are similar to Mr. CFC. And he talked about how our actions that might seem pleasant now may have consequences years or decades down the road. And I think that's a very important lesson for all of us, especially because we're developing adolescence and we're at the time of our lives where our brains aren't equipped to make the best decisions, but sometimes these decisions are actually the most important ones of our lives. And so I think that his speech was very detailed. He had good eye contact with all of us, good hand gestures to help send his message, and also an applicable lesson that we can all learn from. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Michael. All right, moving on to our second evaluator, Mia, for Deanna's speech.
Okay, so Deanna's speech was about mentorship, and she basically explains the before and after of like what happened to help improve her speech through this club. Um,
We can do a round of the group evaluation. So I would like to say, Deanna, you did a really good job. I would just recommend you to still make it more compact. I heard there was some gap in there, so just watch out for some gap. Yeah, but really good job.
That's the longest speech so far.
Mhm.
Well, I know you worked really hard at that speech. You did really good. I think you're getting louder when you speak, so that's a positive. And you had a lot more detail on this one. I know you actually left some of the detail out because I heard the full speech last night. But yeah, you did overall really well. And keep practicing. You're going to do a great job.
Yeah, I have to say, Mia, she told me for years having problem. Yeah, probably, and because of the meeting is kind of formal today, so we haven't really gotten a chance for her to explain that. So, yeah, I really appreciate Mia, you stand up, still trying to deliver your evaluation. Yeah, thank you for your bravery, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. All right, we can still give the evaluation around the table. Yeah. Anybody want more tips and to Diana?
Be more confident. That even though that's repeated a lot of times, you can just act, if you're not confident, like really confident, you can just project that you're confident and no one will know.
Great job, Diana. Yeah. All right, I think that's the second evaluation. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that, everyone. And you did do an excellent job today, Deanna. All right, moving on, we have our timers report by Xavier. So, Xavier, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac. So first up, we have Mr. Jason's speech. It is at 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Second, we have Ms. Deanna at 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And next, we got straight into our table topics. First up was Mia with 55 seconds. Then I believe it was Amara as the second speaker at 51 seconds. We got Isaac at 1 minute and 5 seconds. Kate at 1 minute 25. Mr. Horace at 1 minute 7. Me at 1 even. Tim at 1 minute 3 seconds. Michael at 1 minute 3 seconds. And then finally for the evaluations, we had Michael at 1 minute and 35 seconds. And Mia and the panel evaluation finally ending at 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Thank you, and back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Xavier. All right, moving on to our grammarians report by Amara. You can go ahead.
Okay, for the speeches for Mr. Jason, he used the word of the day and no filler words. Deanna used the word of the day and no filler words. For table topics, Mia used no word of the day and one filler word.
Amir used no word of the day and 2 filler words. Isaac used no word of the day and 0 filler words. Kate used no word of the day and no filler words. Mr. Horse used no word of the day and no filler words. Xavier used no word of the day and no filler words. Tim used the word of the day and 1 filler word. And then Michael used no word of the day and 0 filler words.
Thank you for that, Miss Amara. All right. Now we will move on to our general evaluator, who is Xavier again. So, Xavier, you can take the floor once more.
All right. So my general evaluation of the speech. I didn't exactly see the time as soon as we started, but I think it was like a minute, just like 1 minute behind. So nothing too big. But other than that, we got into each part. Is that Isaac did a great job at getting our next people or people selected since some people weren't here in the meeting. And give him a little praise for that. And then everybody that decided to take on a role since somebody else wasn't here, I want to thank you for doing that. Next, I want to say our guests came in. It was nice to get them to come up and speak first day. And we hope to see more of you all here. And the speeches were both great. Mr. Pendergrass, a nice speech. And Deanna is your longest one yet. Also, it was a great speech. You did a great job projecting. The table topics flew smoothly. I like that you incorporated our guests in Miss Anna during that time. And then our evaluation part was all good. So overall, it was an excellent meeting. And just give everybody a little round of applause. It was an excellent meeting today, everyone. I want to turn it back over to you, Mr. Albert.
All right. Thank you for that, Mr. Xavier. All right. Now I will turn it back to our president, Michael.
Great meeting today, everyone, and I'd like to welcome our guests and hope you guys come back for more meetings. So now is time for next week's roles.
Cannot see. Where is it? Okay, yeah. All right, next week is on November the 3rd. And we know several people, Kate, Imara, Michael will not be here. So Toastmaster, we need a Toastmaster, speaker number 1, speaker number 2.
Can I be a speaker for the week after next week?
Yeah, that'll be November the 10th. I'll put Kate's name here, but, okay. All right, speaker number 1, speaker number 2. Okay,
Eric can be tabletop inspector next time.
yeah, Eric will be here next week. Okay. I'll take speaker number 2. Who's gonna be speaker number 1?
I can evaluate next week. I believe I'll be in person.
Okay, you mean the 3rd? You mean the November 3rd? Okay,
It's November the 3rd. That's next meeting.
yeah.
Yep. That works.
You will evaluate me. And then, okay, we'll see. People may come up with a speech this week, so we'll leave that open. Toastmaster. Toastmaster?
I won't be here.
Will be here? Jason will be here?
Yeah.
Do you want to be the Toastmaster? Alright. Grammarian. Grammarian, our guest, would you like to take on the grammarian, just evaluate other people's grammar usage, like Imara did? Count the filler words, use the word of the day. Okay, I'll put, Sophia, right, okay, Sophia. All right. Timer. Okay, we'll leave the timer open for right now. Okay, we need a general evaluator. General evaluator. Amira, you want to do the general evaluator? Like Xavier did, just evaluate the whole meeting in general. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. All right, I think we're all set. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. We have both speakers already set for next week, or just one?
Just one.
All right. I'll see if Kennedy is coming next week. I'll check.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much. Hi, Tony.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.